I'm playing around with my Electronic SK840 Silver Reed machine, and up until now I've always used my computer to connect it and do patterning. But if I was trying to figure out why I couldn't just set this on slip and it would slip the needles that are in work. On my other machines, that's really all you have to do is set it on slip and it will not knit the ones that are in working position. But on this machine it does not do that unless you have it set on or connected to your computer or to one of those pattern controllers. Now if you put it on C, that's for circular cast on for your ribber, and it will slip the needles in working position only to the right but not to the left. But what if you want to do it in both directions? I could not figure out a way to make the machine do that without it being connected to the machine, other than manually holding these little doors open on the side. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if let's say I wanted to slip these two needles here, so I'd put all the rest of them out, and in any other machine or the manual machines, these two needles would not knit if I set the machine to slip. So I'm going to put the carriage on S for slip, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The machine, with the way this is set up here, the needles are going to enter in there, and you would think they wouldn't knit, that only the ones out to the farthest position should knit, like all the other machines, but every one of these needles knit. So if I put it on C, like for circular cast on, and I leave those same two needles, well, that's not really what I wanted to do. I'm just going to leave a couple of needles in that working position, and let's see if they slip to the right. So I've got it set on C, and these little doors, if you'll see this one right here, I don't know if it's showing, this little door is pulled all the way forward. So these needles are going to enter in here and slip to the right. So you see these two needles here, they have little slip stitches on them, just like you would expect it to. But you would think that it would do it the same way for when you set your carriage at S, but it does not. So without having my computer hooked up, which I do have it hooked up now, so let me go ahead and just use Design and Knit to show you that it will knit like it's supposed to when I have the machine connected to my computer. Okay, I've got the carriage set on the S, and I have every other needle selected to slip, and the first row should do the slip patterning. So you can see every other needle slipped, and then the computer is set to, Design and Knit is set to go ahead and knit every needle back. So now all the needles have knit. So that's performed exactly like I wanted it to. So I'm going to turn off Design and Knit and manually select the needles that I want to slip. So I'm just going to leave a couple of needles back here to slip. So I still have my carriage set on slip, and the only way I can make this do the slip stitches is if I hold that little door open right here and make those stitches go in the channels that I want them to. So it's a little inconvenient, but unless somebody else knows how to do this, this is the only way I can figure to make this electronic machine do manual slip stitches. It will do manual tuck stitches. Let me show you a couple of tuck stitches. So all I would have to do is put my carriage in hold, and it'll do tuck stitches here without me even changing the carriage to the T position. So those two needles did not knit, and I have tuck stitches laying on top of the needles. The difference between a tuck stitch and a slip stitch is that the tuck stitches will lay on top of the needles, and the slip stitches will be underneath the needles. And so with slip stitches, it's going to kind of pull everything tighter together. With tuck stitches, it's going to pull everything this way because those stitches keep building up on the needles until you allow them to knit. So I'll take the Russell levers back to 2 and knit those 2 needles back. So you'll see wherever there was a tuck stitch, you'll have two stitches built up on those needles. So anyway, again, the only way I can figure out to do the manual slip stitches is to leave the needles you want to slip, and you don't want to put 2 side by side. The ones that you want to slip, you leave them in working position, set your carriage to S, hold the little door open, and knit across. So if you're going to do a lot of slip stitches, you might as well do the patterning with your software or with a pattern controller.